everybody, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. And what a start to Super Sunday it has been in the Premier League. Everton getting a massive win, and Leeds, a 10-men resilient Leeds, unfortunately losing to Arsenal. It has been a massive weekend when we look at the relegation, with obviously Burnley losing as well. So guys, I had to jump on to a video straight away to talk about what has unfolded this weekend. And before I do, as always, please do hit that like button. And if you enjoy the video, also please do subscribe to the channel as well. We are now past 2,500 subs, but we want to keep on pushing. So help us out, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the video. Guys, I'm going to talk about the relegation battle. And firstly, just starting off with the results that we've seen this weekend. A massive win for Everton. And in fact, two massive back-to-back wins, which myself, when we recorded a video, me and James, just a couple of weeks ago on this relegation battle, I said I'd be surprised if Everton got any more than 1 point from the Leicester and Chelsea games. In fact, they've gone and pulled off 6 points and now sitting in 16th position, game in hand on the other two as well. I think if you're an Everton fan, you're absolutely buzzing with the result, but you're also fancying your chances to stay up. Leeds, do you know what? I was really impressed with Leeds today in the second half. It was a bit of an unfortunate 20 minutes, wasn't it, in the first half for them. Eddie Nketiah bagging 2 goals. It didn't start off well for them at the Emirates Stadium, with obviously the ball being gave away by the goalkeeper and Eddie Nketiah just pouncing on that. It was a really unfortunate mistake. And of course, the red card made the difference. You do wonder, with what I saw from Leeds' fight, whether they had 11 men on the pitch. Could they have come out in that second half and got an all-important point? And of course, losing Luke Ayling for the rest of the season won't be great news either for Leeds. And then Burnley had pulled off 3 massive back-to-back wins, obviously, since the new manager has come in and Sean Dyche has left. But a very unimpressive result against Villa yesterday. They were much the poorer team, and that 3-1 defeat, unfortunately, despite all the good running for Burnley, that 1 defeat has made a massive difference, hasn't it? And to be fair, let's dive into my thoughts on this, because when you look at the relegation battle now, I think I touched on it just a few moments ago. When you're speaking about Everton now, they've got a game in hand already on 35 points. And you look at the next 2 fixtures, Watford away, an already relegated Watford we saw at the weekend as well. I'm not sure they're going to probably be feeling too warmly to Roy Hodgson when he returns to Vicarage Road on their next game, especially as he applauded the Palace fans and didn't go over to the Watford fans. You do feel that, okay, Everton's away form hasn't been brilliant, but coming up against an already relegated Watford and that kind of spring in the step they've got, you fancy them to at least pull off a result there. I would actually say I reckon they get the win. And then they come to Goodison Park. We know the home form for Everton has been much better. Coming home to Goodison Park to take on a Brentford team that are already safe. You know, they're still ticking away with the points. But again, I fancy Everton to get the win there. And you now look at it by next Saturday, 41 points are already beyond. I feel that'd be enough to see them safe without even diving in to the last 2 games that they've got coming. So massive weekend, and last 2 weekends for Everton. I'm going to throw it out there on the video. I feel they're safe now. It's going to be interesting to see how they build. I mean, look, they're not 100% safe, but you just feel there's enough to get them over the line. You'd argue 6 points would be enough. And looking at the next 3 fixtures, even not looking at the Arsenal one, you feel they're going to get 6 points from that, especially with 2 of those games being at Goodison Park. So then you look and you transfer your attention onto Burnley and Leeds. What's going to happen there? One thing you've got to really point out is they're identical on points, but look at the goal difference. Obviously, Leeds minus 35 now compared to Burnley's minus 17. You don't feel, unless an absolute miracle happened, that they'd be pulling back that goal difference. But so you almost feel that Leeds are going to need to accumulate more points than Burnley over their last 3 games that both of these have. But diving into them, you'd argue they've kind of got similar difficulty in terms of fixtures. You've got Spurs away versus obviously Chelsea at home. The one thing you would probably point out for Leeds in their favour is, of course, Leeds have got 2 home fixtures. And you feel that the fight that they put up against, obviously, Arsenal, you see that there's still a lot of fight in this team. They're not beaten. They're not done yet. And okay, they sit in the relegation battle. But when I did the video a couple of weeks ago on who I thought was going to go down, no spoilers anymore. Me and James both thought at the time that it would be Everton. We did say on that video, though, that we felt it was going to get worse for Leeds. There was going to be a forced negativity around Leeds, that they would end up in the relegation battle based on their next two fixtures. And it obviously has now inevitably happened. But we did say that could inevitably happen. And we actually said with the Chelsea fixture, it wouldn't surprise us if we saw Leeds going into that relegation battle, but then jumping out of it with their last two fixtures. I think Leeds, especially with how Chelsea are playing, Chelsea having to go away from home, I don't think their away record has been superb at all lately. I feel coming in that games at Ellen Road, they might even fancy getting a point there. You then come to Brighton, who have been in absolutely fantastic form. 3-0 win over Wolves, and then obviously the massive win that they accumulated against Manchester United. They're going to be very full of confidence, but I think, again, there's a benefit there of that fixture being at Ellen Road. When you compare that to obviously the two away fixtures that Burnley have coming up, Spurs is not going to be easy. They're probably still going to be within that top four race. And, you know, especially if they get a result against Arsenal, whether that be a draw or a win, they're going to be very, very motivated because, you know, that is going to be a bit of a battle for that top four. And then you come to Villa. Obviously, Villa got the win yesterday. Then having to go and face Villa away from home, you probably wonder whether the benefit is going to be with Aston Villa yet again to pick up a result over Burnley, obviously only doing it 2 weeks prior. And then focusing on the last games, one thing that would be obviously within Burnley's advantage is coming up against the Newcastle team. But Newcastle is not an easy fixture at the moment. And Brentford, on the other hand, also not an easy fixture. And it is away from home. It's going to be really close, this is. And I think you're sort of almost, well, I'm looking at Everton now that I feel they're going to accumulate enough points. They would have to mess up, especially with 2 home games, to not get over the line now, and also having a game in hand over their opponents. Burnley and Leeds, this is going to be very close. If I had to predict it, though, I'm probably going to say I still fancy Leeds to get over the line, which obviously would now shape for Burnley to go down. I don't know whether it'll come by getting a point against Chelsea, but I fancy Leeds to accumulate 6 points over the last 2 games of the season, which of course means if Burnley can match those 6 points, then it would be enough for them. But in all honesty, I'm going to predict that they only actually get 4. I think they'll face a defeat against Spurs. They'll then get a point maybe against Aston Villa, despite it being away. And maybe they do pick up the win against Newcastle, but I still don't think it will be enough. Is this one going to come down to the last game of the season, guys? Is it now a 2-horse race for a relegation, or are you still pulling Everton into it? Let me know your thoughts. If you support one of these 3 clubs, let me know how optimistic or how negative you are feeling. And of course, at the start of the video, as I said, if you've enjoyed it, please do help us out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep going. We're past 2,500 subs, but we want to keep going. So help us out. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.